One of the challenges we face in the maintenance is that sometimes we say that there is no information about these subjects, there's no information about these problems, there's no information about doing this job. And we don't know how to get the information, and then the process is hard and it's difficult to do the maintenance and so on. So we will speak about this subject today, and we will see how to find the information, how to record them, and how to retrieve them, and what are the key factors about this, and how to start now. Even if you don't have nothing from previous, you need to start from square zero. So consider your square zero if you have nothing to be now. Previously we had spoken about that the maintenance needs some information flowing in the maintenance system. So regardless, it's a computer, it's paper, it's mixed, it's local one, you need some information flowing through the maintenance system so you get the benefits of the maintenance system. Otherwise, if you don't have information flowing in the maintenance system, it's a dead system. There's no blood flowing inside it. The body without blood or energy flowing inside it is a dead body. So we like to have a living maintenance system, not a dead one. But why we collect the information in the first place? The best thing that you can do for yourself is to take an informative decision, and a decision based on the information. If you don't have information, then your decision will be have some ambiguity. When you have ambiguity in your decision or in while taking the decision, then there's a high probability that you will have some mistakes. If you have some information and you take the decision based on this information, even if the decision is not coming to be perfect or 100% correct, but you have a chance to build on the information you had before and the information that led you to take this decision, and then you can adjust it in the next time. So it's usually opens the door for a continuous improvement of your decisions, of your actions, of your steps, and so on. So even if you don't have any information now in hand, start now to record your information. What information we need, that what we are going to see now. It does not depend on the size of the business, regardless of the size. It's a small workshop, it's a big plant. You need to start from some place to record the information and then to work upon it. Don't wait for a computerized system, full-fledged computerized system that will help you to make your planning and your work running and so on. That's not the target, because if you can't make it with a manual system or with a local system on Excel sheets and spreadsheets, you will not be able to make it on the big computerized or whatever brand computerized system. Okay, so the target is to have some history and to use it to make your life easy in the coming steps. So just to understand what information we need to consider a situation and then move through this situation and to see what information can come to us and how we can use it in the future. So working in any place in the maintenance, usually you are doing maintenance and usually you have some failures, some problems, some troubles, and you repair them and return the equipment back to operation. So this is information. The problem is that when we say there is no information, this means that we didn't record this information, and even if we record this information, we didn't manage to retrieve this information when this problem happened again. So just we need to know what information we need when something wrong happens. So by the way, also this part is considered somehow in the planning jobs. So you don't need to have a planner as a dedicated person, while it's important to have a planner as a dedicated system, dedicated person, just to have a healthy maintenance system. But maybe you rely on your technical team for the technical planning of the parts and the tools and the arrangements of the technical stuff and so on, not on a dedicated planner. So, but you need to put this planning activity as part of their job assignment, so they know that they should do planning for their job as they execute the job. Both of them is required. Either it's a person or a task in the job description of your team. So again, we have some failure of some equipment. So the first question to return the equipment back to operation is, what is the problem? Was there an alarm list? Is there an alarm list? Is there an alarm anywhere? Is there an indication? How did we find this problem? When this problem came from? Who discovered the problem? Did it stop the operation? Okay. The next question which will come to the mind of the person who is trying to troubleshoot this problem and turn the equipment back to operation. Did this problem happen before? What action did we take during this problem? Supposedly that we find that there is a failure in a sensor, or it happened before that there was a failure in some sort of a sensor. Is there a spare sensor? How can I find this spare sensor? Do I need to isolate the machine? Do I need to make tag out and dig out to put safety conditions? How do I make them? Is there any record how to know that, to isolate the machine, to make it safe for the operation? Is there a schematic for the connection of the sensor, for the new sensor? When was the last time this sensor failed? There's also a couple of questions that will help you in the analysis in the future. So when you say that did happen before, so when it happened before, last week, last day, 1 day before, 1 month before, 1 year before, all this need to be recorded for the analysis. So is it repeatedly failing? Does the effect on the operations, our operations is interrupted usually due to this sensor or due to this special repeated failure? How much time we need to repair it? And why the sensor failed? That's a very important question. Why it failed? Is there any action taken to protect this sensor? If you don't match with the sensor example, let me speak about a leaking seal. So what is the problem? Who discovered the problem of a leaking seal? It was a sound, it was some liquid leaking, it was some air leaks, pressure is not building up, there was some alarm, there was an alarm. Did the operation stop now? Or expected that the operation might stop in the future due to this condition of the leaking? What happened the last time we faced this problem? That's a very important question again. What happened before? Because usually we like to build on what happened before. We like to repeat the actions that happened before. If this is not existing, start to record the answers of these questions now, after this failure or doing this failure. So the next time you come to the same failure, you have the answers. So is it linked to an actuator? How can I make the safety conditions at logging and tagging? Is there a drawing for the disassembly? What happened the last time? Is there a spare seal? Is it ready? Is it properly stored? What is the time taken to this action? Do I need to stop the operation, the production? If there's an electrical actuator that I need to dismantle first or to isolate first? The seal that I found in the store, is it of the same type? Is it properly stored? Many questions that come to our mind. So how these questions will help us to improve the maintenance system? So the first task is to return the equipment back to operation. The second task is to have some data that we can analyze and build upon them to make our next repair. Okay, so when the equipment returned to operation and when the same failure is repeated again, because once you have a failure, it's expected that this failure might happen again. So your life will be easier with the next failure when you have in your hand the answers to these questions when they are recorded and you can retrieve them. Okay, plus, so when the problem happens again, you will retrieve the information and then you need to record again the feedback, again the answers to the same questions. You need to record them back because maybe something is different, something is variant. So we can make some analysis and we can make some preparations, or even the maintainer or the person who is doing this troubleshooting will have some alternatives. Maybe it's this sensor, maybe it is this sensor, maybe it is the cable, maybe it is a connection, maybe it is the seal, maybe it is the bearing, because now for the same problem he is having some alternatives or some problems that may happen not only one condition or one case. But anyhow, even if you don't have any previous history, start now to record the answer of these questions. Even if it is the first time failure, because any equipment has have the first time that it fails. So we will return back to our what we had spoken about the documentation and the information flow in the maintenance system. We need to return the maintenance manual. We need to return to our experienced technicians. We need to answer these questions and to make the isolations and the preparations, the spares and so on, and then to record this data. For the first time, when you do the job, it's important if you are prepared for this. So how we get prepared for this? So supposedly that you are in a perfect place and you have every maintenance job is planned in before, even if it's not happened, they have done the job and so on. But this condition is rare. You don't find this in every working place. We don't have the capacity or the time or the preparation, except in few places that prepare everything. So when you come to join the place, you have everything in position. So every failure is known and the procedure and the steps and so on. So if you don't have this and you need really to make a good start for your maintenance or take it to the next level and upgrade it and so on. So think about giving some time during every day, during the inspection rounds, during the checklist, filling the checklists, even during the rest time and so on, to discuss about the probability of some failures of the equipment. So you need to know your equipment first, and then put the probability of failures of this equipment, and then to visualize that you are repairing some failure in this equipment. And then, because something, for example, that you need to dismantle a pump, you need to dismantle a motor or something like that, and everything is ready, the tools, the teams, and so on, and there's no overhead crane, there's no jeep crane to lift the equipment, and you need to find an access that you get a forklift, or you get an external crane to lift the motor and or the pump or whatever, or to hang them temporarily to change the seal or something like that. But this is not prepared. This will take an extra time, so the equipment will stop till you find the spare part, till you find the tool, till you complete the action. So if you visualize it before, you give your time to visualize it before, then you will have the option when the failure happens that you are ready for this failure. You know your tools, you know your spares, you know your actions, you know your team, and so on. So the feedback we are speaking about any job, it's the answer of these questions. It's best to make it in the form of questions or checklists with space to write some data inside against each question, to make it in the records clear, so you can retrieve the information. So spare part, the part, how many persons, these persons, which tools, these tools, which documents, this drawing and document. Even as I told you, when this failure happened for the first time, you just need to answer these questions and make them recorded in a list. Then after making the list, leave a space for free writing, because the comments coming in the free writing having some treasures inside. You will find a lot of information, a lot of wealth of information to improve your maintenance in the free writing part. But the free writing and documenting part, if it is only the part that collect the feedback only in free writing, it will be difficult to convert it into a data. You need to find someone who can convert this free writing with this big paragraph separated into data, and might find some data lost and so on. And the questions and the structured answering of these questions after the failure, even after the equipment failed and repaired and so on, this structured answering will probe the answers or the thinking of the team, even who had done the job. Yes, we use this part, but we face this problem, and so on. So making it in the form of questions or fill in the space or check boxes or something like that will probe some answers in the minds even of the one who had done the job. Okay, so the next time the equipment fails, you will be ready with the documents, you will be ready with its effect on the production, the safety, the spares available, and any disassembly or assembly, so you will not panic. And you will have time to start recording your KPIs and mean time between failure, mean time to repair, and so on. So you will continuously, when you start the first failure, second failure, because equipment continues to fail. There's let's say there's a place in happening in the failures, because you understand the equipment path. You have some records to build upon them. You have a chance to improve, because if you have one failure for every equipment every now and then, and you don't have failures and so on, which is not the case usually in the running planes, but just building upon the information will let you improve your maintenance system. But what happens if after a few failures you don't find some records or some informations and you can return to nothing? The problem usually is coming from one of three reasons. Maybe your experienced team or staff is not recording anything, and they are leading the plant, and when they are not available, they are the remaining team is at loss, and they need this experienced person or persons to be available at every turn. So you need to solve this problem. Okay. The other one is there's not enough data recorded. So either you leave a blank space where they write just free spaces, and there's no comments, valuable comments, and there is only a poor checkboxes. It's repaired, yes. It stopped the production, yes. And then that's all. There's no valuable in the data collection form. There's no valuable questions to be used in the coming failures and so on. Or maybe its data is not analyzed. The piece of paper is filled and it is put in some file, and then no one knows where is the file, and you cannot retrieve it at time and build upon it. So it's a matter of recording complete data, and be able to retrieve the data. These are the three key factors that will help you with the next failure. So in conclusion, you have information. You have failure, you are doing maintenance, then you have information to record. And when you have information, you will know how to spend your time and money best in the next time. And the maintenance team, even the newly joining the maintenance team will have confidence in doing the maintenance and in the results of the maintenance. Even those outside the maintenance will have the confidence in doing the maintenance. If you don't have enough data now, start small, start from small area, just start now. I hope you had enjoyed your coffee while listening to this video. If you have any question about any of these problems, or you need any support in them, you can ask for our services on Fiverr. You can drop us a line directly on our contact at simpleways.life, or fill our form. You will find the links in the description after the video, or you can join one of our maintenance trainings. It contains more valuable information. See you in the coming video.